It's time for GarageBand Weekly, episode 86, here on Studio Live today. Let's do it. Get down and jam, because it's time for everyone's favorite weekly show about GarageBand, and not just because it's the only weekly show about GarageBand on the internet, but we got some cool stuff here today. We're going to be taking another dive into the brand new packs that we have in GarageBand iOS. They are impressing me in a big bad way. We're going to be talking about an update to a favorite GarageBand companion app of mine, and we'll be ranting about the two pet peeves that I have about GarageBand iOS that need to be fixed. Let's fix them. And let's fix them now, or at least let's ask Apple if they'll fix them, because we can't do it ourselves. Hello to the folks who are here live. If it's your first time here, my name is Pete. This is Studio Live today, and on this show and on this channel, I try to help you create, record, and release your best music. We do that through tips and tricks and tutorials, as well as live interactive shows just like this one. And we are interactive, so if you do have questions, all you need to do is put the word question at the start of your comment. You don't have to say it like that. Just put the word question at the start of your comment, and we'll be able to jump in and get to that one. And we're brought to you today, actually, by my Patreon page. Yes, if you go to studiolivetoday.com/Patreon, Patreon, you can come over here and check this one out, and you can join the 69 folks, nice, that have already become patrons here of Studio Live today. And the cool thing is, you get not only some exclusive live streams, some behind the scenes looks and direct access to me, but you get early access. And if we scroll on down here, yeah, the little jam I just played you is from the Mark Lettieri pack. And I've actually already shot and recorded this video, and it's out there, but it's unlisted because it's not being released till tomorrow. But guess what? If you are part of the Patreon family here on Studio Live today, you can go over and check out the video, and it's right there, ready to play. There it is. Oh, yeah, you can see and listen. Let's take a quick look and a listen. There's no cool guitar sounds here in GarageBand. Well, I think it's time that you and I took a bit of a look at this, the brand new sound pack from Mark Lettieri. Yeah. So you can go and check that video out here right now. And if you join Patreon for as little as $1 per month, you get instant access to everything that's there in the past. So it's not like you just get the future stuff. You get access to all the past stuff as well. So if you want to support the channel, then feel free to check out the Patreon page. Let's jump into the news and the notes, shall we? Because we got quite a bit to get through. Now, not to bury the lead, we've already talked about this a couple of times here. There are some brand new sound packs here in GarageBand on iOS. If you haven't checked these out yet and you missed last week's show, here's what they're all about. If we come back out to here, if you go to your sound library, we do have these two. We've got the Dua Lipa remix session, the Lady Gaga remix session, and then we've got 8 different artist and producer packs here. Everything from Mark Ronson to Mark Lettieri that I was just playing there, Tom Misch, we've got our Oak Felder, and Track Girl. I checked out Track Girl here on the channel just a few days ago. I'm actually super impressed. Really cool sounds. Like this isn't just your, hey, it's another pack of 8 different variations on 808s just for electronic producers. There's a bunch of really cool stuff in these sound packs. So if you haven't already got those, then go ahead and do that. One of the questions I did get asked is, I'm not seeing these. Why am I not seeing these new sound packs in my GarageBand? There's a couple of things you need to do. You need to make sure that you have the latest version of iOS installed. So make sure that you've gone to your settings app here in iOS and that you've checked and you've got a software update ready to go. Where am I? There we are. Go into your software update and make sure that you are actually updated. If you're not on 14.7.1, you may need to actually update to that. And at the same time, why don't you jump into your App Store and just check out that you do have the latest version of GarageBand installed. So come on into your App Store, check your apps. Easiest way I find to just search it out here. So if we just search GarageBand, I'll just search Garage, there it is. And if instead of open, you've got update, hit that update button. That will update you to the latest version of GarageBand, and you will be good to go, and you'll be able to access and download all of these cool new sound packs. We've got some more news to get to, but first let's say good day to the folks who are here live. Hello to Joe Glenn, hello to Jade Star, hello to Mark, hello to Bubba in the house, hello to Mr. Thomas Christ, I hope you are doing well. Epiphomium, hello to you, whoever is Lone Wolf Echo. If you are here, Boy Soup, hello to you. If you are here, do say good day, and if you do have any questions for me, once again, all you need to do is throw the word question in front of your question, and I'll answer your question. All right, what else have we got here? Another thing that I wanted to show here that it took me a while to find this, and I don't know if it's because I'm an old man or because it hasn't been the way with other sound packs, but I wanted to show you that in each of these new sound library packs, our old ones here, it just had the header there. You can preview them, yeah, you can listen to the funky sounds, but that's it, and then you can download them. These new packs all have a little video you can watch. So, for instance, the Mark Lettieri pack that I'm currently in love with, we can actually take a look and a listen to what Mark has to say about this pack. So I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble copyright-wise here. So if there's silence here or if there's a bit missing, if you're watching on the replay, you know why. But let's hit play on this one and see what Mark has to say about his sound pack.
Hey, I'm Mark Lettieri. Welcome to my pack on GarageBand. I've been a member of a band called Snarky Puppy for many years. I've done a lot with that band, a lot of recording. I've done session work for gospel artists like Kirk Franklin.
So it's very cool. You get to see a little bit of it behind the scenes, and there's even a bit here. Yeah, you get to see him actually in his bedroom studio, and this is what I love. This is like reassuring when you see someone and he's creating these loops. He's sitting there and he's actually just recording these in, and this is what is now here in GarageBand for you to play with and experiment with. I know Bubba's had a look at these. He sent me a track this morning he's been working on, which sounds really cool. There's a whole bunch of really cool guitar loops in there, and again, all these packs have got some amazing sounds in there, so go and check them out, and yeah, just explore, because again, you've got these videos here that you can actually watch, and you can check out exactly what's going on with all of these artists and producers. Because I'm going to be honest, I wasn't aware of all the names of all these artists and producers. There's too many people creating too much cool music to keep up with who everyone is, yeah? So, yeah, if you want to learn a bit more about them, do that. And the Lady Gaga and Dua Lipa ones, they have a pretty in-depth tutorial about live loops in there. So if you've never used live loops or if you want a refresher, you can do that. News item number 3, I've already covered, which is how to update iOS and GarageBand. I covered that in the first item, so you can go back and re-listen to that one. I wanted to talk about this on the Apple TV Plus, and it's very much related to this. Do I not have it on my iPad? I don't think I have it on my iPad. I'll have to download the TV app. Is that a thing? Is the TV app a separate app that you have to download? I thought it was included in all of your GarageBand, all of your iOS. Yeah, no, I don't have it. So sorry, I'll show you what I'm actually doing here. So on Apple TV Plus, which I do have at the moment, there is a very cool show called Watch the Sound. And yes, it's related to the pack with Mark Ronson that we just showed you there in GarageBand. So if you've never used Apple TV Plus before, you get 3 months for free when you buy a new device. So many folks have probably got it that way. There is a 7-day free trial if you want to try it out, or you can pay, I don't remember how much it is per month, something like $10 a month. $7, something like that. And you can check out a bunch of really cool shows. There's lots of cool original shows on here. Oh, we've got a TV notification there. But the one that I've been watching a heap, actually, yeah, this one's cool too, 808. I'm only about 20 minutes into that one. It's a documentary all about the history of the Roland TR-808, which is very, very cool. But if you check out Watch the Sound with Mark Ronson, this is a really cool show. I've binged the entire thing. So I've watched, I was sad. I got to the episode 6, which was about distortion. I'm like, what do you got next for me, Mark? And it's like, you've watched this show now. It's over. I'm like, no. But you can see here, auto-tune, sampling, reverb, synthesizers, drum machines, and distortion. And the cool thing about this, and this is next level cool in my personal opinion, is that when we come over here to the sound library, the pack, this one here, the Mark Ronson sound pack, a lot of the loops, a lot of the kits and beats and sounds in here, the keyboard patches, and even the audio recorder presets are what's talked about. So when you go in here and you check out this pack, so we go into the audio recorder, and you check out the presets that we have here that are part of this pack. Where are we? Recently downloaded, Watch the Sound. All these distortion effects, these are the ones that they're talking about in the actual show. They've created versions of these. So you watch the show and you're like, man, I dug all those distorted tones. I want to try those on my guitar and my voice and my keys. You can come into this pack and actually try them out. I'm like, that's actually super cool. So I would highly recommend that you check that one out. Again, I have no affiliation with Apple TV whatsoever, so I'm not shilling. I'm not telling you need to spend more money for yet another streaming service for video, but even if you get it for a short period of time just to binge watch this at 6 episodes, they're about 40 minutes each. You will learn a lot of stuff and you'll be super entertained. Dave Grohl's in there, Paul McCartney, like a bunch of people. And of course, Mark Ronson, Mr. Uptown Funk, the horn man himself. Not that kind of horn, but the horns. It's very, very cool. All right, quick drink. Quick coffee, and we'll move on. One final thing here, and I only learnt this last night when I was setting up for the show. And that is that there is an update. The reason that I can so easily display my iPad screen here and you can get like the nice quality video and the audio coming through is because of an app called Relfector 4. I've done a video here on it before and it is super cool. If we come over to here, if we go to my channel, we'll just go YouTube. This is how I find my own videos. I don't ever remember what I've got. I just go, I just search my name. Here's a tip, my name and Relfector 4, and I should be able to find the video. So here it is, screen mirroring on your iPad and iPhone. It also works on Android, and you can do it to your Mac or your PC. So the reason that I can have this displayed here, and you get nice, good quality, and we can watch videos, and we can show you my GarageBand screen is because of Relfector. Relfector 4 was having an issue where it would be crashing. You've probably seen that here on the show, and fingers and toes and all other bits and pieces crossed. We're not going to have a crash here today because they have put an update. And whilst I'm normally not super enthused whenever I see that an update is stability improvements and bug fixes, the last version was unstable and had bugs. So stability improvements and bug fixes for the absolute win when it comes to Relfector. All right, let's have a look. If we've got any questions, I think I saw one here. Boy Soup, hello to you. Whenever I export a song, it gets really loud for no reason. I even did the effects trick, but it still didn't work. Does it not work anymore? Am I doing something wrong? It's a good question and a good point. And it is to do with, in fact, I'll rant about it in my rant of the week, but it is to do with the fact that when you start building up a track, and we're going to do this in a minute, so maybe as we build this track here as part of our feature topic this week, is revisiting these sound packs, we'll actually do that. So I'll overcook it or even undercook it, and we'll see what actually happens even when you have a low volume sample. If you export it, it's going to auto-normalize it. It's going to automatically level it up to 0 dB. And it may not feel like or seem like that you're actually overloading it because you've just added, say, 4 or 5 loops. But remember, each loop added, if you leave it at that default 0 dB setting, it's going to result in, together, too much sound. So even if it doesn't sound like it is, you might need to turn it way down, like much more down than what you think it needs to be. The other thing can be compression and distortion, as well as your EQ. So it may not be that the overall levels are too high, but you may have compressed something too much, or you may have a certain frequency. This happens a lot with bass. Your overall mix may not be loud, but you've got a pumping 808 that is pushing it up there. So you've got this mix that's sitting down here, and then the 808's spiking it up like this, and it's pushing the whole thing down. It's making it sound flat, or worse, it's pulling everything up and making it sound like it's pumping and wavering, which is not cool. Right, so hopefully that helps you out. Question: are you using a green screen today of your own room? No, we are green screen free in 83. Is it 83? Feels like 1983 sometimes. No, not using a green screen in my own room, but that would be cool. I should totally do that. I've always wanted to do that trick, and then I reach and pull down, and it's actually the exact same. So I could do the joke, and then I could just pull the green screen down, and behind me is exactly what I have there. Arnie G says, I'm sleek peeking. It's way past bedtime. Yes, for the folks in the UK and Europe, I do apologize. We've moved this show a little bit later. Feel free to catch up on the replay. And again, if you want more live stuff on the Patreon channel, which I promoted at the start of the show, we do different live streams at different times of the day. So if you do want to catch me live a bit more often, you can become a patron. Question, any tips using reference tracks? I have covered reference tracks in a little bit of detail before. If you're not familiar with reference tracks, it's about bringing in a track that is the kind of sound that you're going for. And then, doorbell's ringing. They're going to have to wait. Unless it's my wife, but she has keys, so I don't think it is her. We may need to check that in a moment if that's the case. I might show you a sneak peek if I do need to go away and actually check the door. The joys of a home studio and being at home, yeah, these sort of things happen. But I'll just see if we've got any final questions before we move on. No, we're good. So let's dive into our feature topic, shall we? And we're going to revisit these sound packs here in GarageBand. So here we are in GarageBand on our iPad, and we're going to check out some of these new sounds here. We're going to come in here, and if you haven't downloaded all of these, you go to your sound library and you come down to here, and each of these packs, I've got them all now. You grab that one, you download it. You grab that one, you download it. What I'm going to do today, I'm going to try and combine the forces, the powers of combining all of these tracks together is what we're going to go with here today. So let's see if we can find, say, a drum loop from one, maybe a key patch from another, maybe an audio recorder patch from another, and see if we can bring these all together and get something that's going to come together and sound cool. So why don't we start with the beat sequencer? Let's start with the beat. So we go to drums, we go to beat sequencer. This will give us a little bit of a bed to start things here. So if we tap in the bottom left there, we're going to go recently downloaded. And we're going to find, what's a pack we haven't used much? Soulection. We haven't used this one much at all. Soul Fire. Let's see if we can make a fire beat with some Soul Fire sound. Let's turn up the volume. This will actually be good because we got that thumping 808 kind of sound here. So this could be something that we can work on. And I think we can probably build a bit of funk around this. So we'll turn that off for now. Now I'm going to make a few decisions here to start with to vary this up. So the first thing I'm going to do is come over here. The key signature here is in E major at the moment. I think that's because I changed it when I was playing around with something. Do I have a brand new track, or have I started halfway through a track? I've started halfway through a track. Let's take one step back here and let's go in here and create a new song. So we'll go into a new track here. We'll go back to our drums like a soul, and we'll go to our beat sequencer. We'll do the same thing again there. I did like the sound of that one. So we'll come here. We'll go to, what was I using? Soulection. There we go. The Soul Fire. Yeah, so it's a bit slower because I'd already upped the tempo there. So it's down at 90. Let's go somewhere in between. Let's make it 96 just because. And we'll hit record on this one. And this is how we record in. Yeah. I think this might go well with some like funk guitars and a bit of funky bass. We'll build up some cool funk here. There you go. So that's what we're going to go with to start with. We got 4 bars there. We'll come back out to here and we'll tap on this plus button. Let's just, we'll make it a 16 bar loop just to give us a little bit more room here. By the way, if you didn't know, if you tap on these ones, they'll go one beat at a time. If you tap and hold, you can drag up and drag down like that. So if you need to go with a whole bunch more, you can do it that way. We'll come back here. There's our 16 bars. We'll just bring this back because you can see there that it's actually looped out too much. We don't want to do that. So what we're going to do is hit the trim button, tap it, hit trim. We're going to trim it back, and then we can tap it again and hit loop. If your loops are ever finding that they're not syncing up, that's probably what it is. It's probably gone a little bit too far, and you need to bring it on back like that. So there you go. Nice. Very cool. So that's our beat, and we've started that out. Let's get some bass going on here. For our bass, let's use a bass loop, shall we? So we'll go to our loops browser up the top here. You can see here we're filtered by the Mark Lettieri pack because that's what we were using last night when I recorded the new one. But let's instead grab maybe the Oak Felder pack here, and let's find a bass loop. So we've got Oak Felder. The type, we can go all loops there, and the scale, this is interesting. Do we want to be in a minor or a major scale? We probably want to be a minor scale. So let's just see if we've got any loops that are in a minor scale here. There we go. We've got some plucks. We've got some saxes. We've got some bass. What about the Lost in Tokyo bass? That's cool. So we're going with something with a bit of fuzz here. This is really going to put our GarageBand auto limiting to the test here. So we'll bring these two together. What do they do? How do they work? So you can hear there that it's not really sitting because this one's got a little bit more of a funky groove and this one's a little bit tighter. So maybe that one's not going to work, and it's trial and error when it comes to loops here. So why don't we try a different kind of bass? So that's the Lost Tokyo one. What about this one here, Miles Away? That one might sit a little bit better. So we'll bring this one in here, drop it there, and Yeah, that's going to do it, right? So there you go. You've got your bit of your drum beat there. You've got your bass. And we're mixing and matching different packs here. Let's see if we can get some sort of melodic loop to go along with this. So again, we're going to filter here. We're going to change from Oak Felder. Let's just find something different here. I've not played with Boys Noise, which is a funny sounding name. Anyway, let's play with some Boys Noise, shall we? I mean, I like the sound of Airstream Dream Synth. It doesn't quite work with what we got going on here. Alien? Maybe? That could work in sort of the second half of this. So maybe we bring that in here just to the second half. Let's see if this will transition across. Not quite. So maybe not. So we'll delete that one out here. And it's like just trial and error here, just trying to find sounds that work well together. Maybe that one. We want something a bit higher. Yeah, that could be cool. That could come in here halfway through. This is becoming a bit more of a like menacing kind of sound, right? Right? Yeah, I think that's cool. So there you go. 3 different packs, 3 different types of sounds, and we've got some drums, we've got some bass, and we've got a bit of something there. We need some pads, yeah. Take it up the octave, you reckon, says Bubba? Take it up the octave? Maybe. Let's do that. In fact, we can show you how we do this. So easily change this. We tap it, we go settings. We can actually bring this up. If we go up 12 semitones, guess what that becomes? 1 octave. So we can actually bring this up an octave, and then you're going to get something a bit more like this. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm going to undo that for now, Bubba. Not that I don't trust you, but we'll play with that. Let's add a keyboard patch, shall we? We hit the plus button, we'll come over to keyboards, and we'll go to our more sounds here. Who are we going to use for a keyboard sound? We haven't played around with the Tom Mish. So what are we going to use for a bit of a pad sound here? We've got all these key sounds here. Now, I'm cheating, not cheating, but I'm utilizing my little Korg micro key over here. It's a little, very small, very compact 49 key MIDI keyboard, just so that we can play in some sounds and do it a bit easier. So what about something like the Smooth Echo Clav? Yeah, I reckon we add something like that in here. Let's just see if just a little kind of thing like that will work underneath this. If we hit the record button, through bar. I mean, yeah, it's got an idea there because it's got that echo built in there. It's not probably sitting exactly the way I'd want it to. So what we can do is we can change up the instrument. I like the sound there, but the echo is just not really doing it for me. So if you've ever done this and you've got your instrument there and you're like, no, it's not quite right, well, don't do that. We can come back here and change the instrument sound. Go to our keys and then tap in the middle here. And instead of that one, maybe we want this this spaced out synth instead. What's that going to sound like? Go back to the start. Yeah? Maybe. Yeah, so I think that we're going to go with the second one there that we have, the dun, 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 and that's just going to be, so again, you can play in bits and then go, oh, I only actually really like that part. So all we need to do is split that out and bring this in, and then we can use this as more of a little accent here. So if we delete that, so we'll have our first 2 bars, and then as it comes into bar 3, it's going to do a bit of a, and now it's cut off our first note there. So if you ever get this, you can usually just scroll like that. It just means I've played it too early. We're going to tap it, edit it, and we'll just bring this sound across and make sure it's right there. Let's just fix. No, I won't change those. I'll leave a little bit of the human touch. You don't want to completely dehumanize your tracks by quantizing the crud out of them. We'll bring that back there, and there you go. Now we see we've got that. And then we can do the same again at the next section. So we'll just copy it and just bring it and paste it here. So you can use your own key sounds. You can use loops in various different ways so that There you go. So we'll use those as the accents in there. Now we need a pad. I went in search of a pad and I found a little accent there instead. So let's see if we can find a pad here. So we've got the Take a Day Trip. We've got some pads here. What about the Church Street Mixed Synth? See, that one's got a bit too much attack, so probably not super into that one. What have we got here from the selection? Some synth pads here. Oh, we've got a Crimson Horizon synth pad. That's more like it. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. So we'll bring this in. Yeah. All right, so we hit record on this one. 2, 3, shika boom boom. So I think we're going to repeat that in there. So we'll play that in, and then we'll just simply loop it. And we want this to sort of be buried in the mix, and we want this to be swimming in a bit more reverb. So we'll just mix as we go here. There's a couple of ways to do this. Some people don't like to mix as they go and add in things like reverb and effects and things as they're going. Others really do love it. So I want this to be really wet. So I only want a little bit of the dry sound in there because I want this synth pad to be sitting in the background here. So we're going to do that, and we want a little bit more on the reverb time. So let's just see what this sounds like soloed. Right? Bring it back into our mix. Right. Okay, now we need some keys. We need some real keys. So we need something playing some chords here, right? So that's what we're going to go with next. We're going to hit the plus button. We're going to go back to more sounds here. And I've been digging the piano sounds here in these Oak Felder pack. So there's a couple of cool pianos here. There's the Psychic Energy piano, which you're going to get a bit of this. Which I don't think fits this particular track, but is something I want to use in the future. But this Small Time piano, I think that sounds cool. So we're gonna work out some sort of like keyboard part to play in here. So when I'm playing a key part, I just tend to let it roll and keep trying different ideas. You're going to find the one that's going to work with the song eventually. So we've got 16 bars to play with here. So I'm just going to experiment and throw some ideas down. So hit record. All right. So I sort of, as you heard, I evolved it through there. I was like trying some bass notes and then I was trying some other things. And the reason I did that is that I knew that by the time I got sort of down to here, I was sort of starting to feel it. And from probably this bar here, this section is what I wanted to go with. So let's just play this bit back. Yeah, so I reckon from bar 13, from this spot here, so we'll split this out. We're probably going to lose those front notes. Yep, we did, because Pete always comes in early with his playing. I'll blame the latency. It's not, it's my timing. So we'll just pull that out. And all we need to do, whenever you've got the start of a loop here, as we showed before, hit your edit button. Can quantize these, but I don't want the rest of these patterns to be quantized. Zoom in with your fingers. Actually, I don't want the grid off. So don't zoom in too fast. See how it turns snap to grid off? You want to zoom in until the grid's still on, and that way you can just ponk, ponk, ponk. And you're going to put these right on the grid. The good thing about having this, you can program these in, you can enter the notes in manually, but with a MIDI keyboard, you do get the combination, you get the ability to edit like that, but you get a bit of the human feels as well. So let's bring this back. Let's bring this bad boy back to the start here, and we'll see if we got this going on here. So So we want to, by the way, this comes in too early here. Let's just loop out that bit and play with it. So this one comes back in too early. We want this to come back over here, I believe. Yeah, there we go. So So there you go. We're starting to build this up here. What else does it need? If you're here live, this is your chance to actually throw out an idea here. So you let me know. I'm going to add maybe 2 more instruments just to round this out. But you tell me what else we need in this one, because I'm open to suggestions. Let's see if there's another loop, because the beat is cool, but we maybe need, we've only got that one basic beat here, which is this one here. I'm hearing like we need some top end. It's a little bit bass heavy here. So I want to find a loop that's going to be like a topper. So we can do this. We can filter by our sound packs. Let's just find one that might have a cool topper. Who are we going to try this time? We've tried a bunch of the other ones. Have we utilized Take a Day Trip? I don't think we have. Let's grab this one. And we'll this time come back to our loops and we can search. So you can also search your loops. You can go topper. And as it would turn out, there are no toppers in that pack. But what about some hats? If we just search hat, yeah, you got to have some. Hold up, Manhattan. Well, it did have hat. Let's see if we can find something in here. So a lot of these are actually. I actually really like that. Again, you stumble across some things. So I'm going to bring this one in here and see if this works here in our second section. What do we think of this? Is it going to say? It kind of works. Yeah. Yep. So Jay, Thomas Christ says a topper, funky guitar, absolutely, and agree, a topper and a funky guitar. Right. So that's what we're going to add to start with, and then if anyone else has any final ideas, let us know. So let's get a topper going on here. You know what we could actually do? We could use another beat sequencer to create our own topper. Oh, no, we'll keep looking. What I'll do is I'll actually come out here and we'll filter by all the sound packs this time. Tap it there and come back to here. And this time we've got the power of all of them. So there you go. You got a whole bunch more hats and things here. But we'll put a topper in here. See, they're obviously just not called toppers, or I've done something wrong. Oh, because you know why? Because I've got scale as minor. I bet you if I bring this out here, oh, rookie mistake. There's your problem. I had that on there. So let's find one from one of the new packs here that actually has a topper. Boys Noise look like they have some toppers. What about a crunchy noise? No, we don't want anything crunchy. We want something a little bit smooth to go on top here. No. What do we want? See, if I'd done this earlier, we would have been a lot better off. So the Boys Noise seem to have a lot of toppers. Are there any others that are part of the new pack? What about this one? I don't mind the congas. Let's see if some congas in here is going to work. Just some subtle congas in the background. Not really, but you know what? I'm just going to stick them in the second half of this intro part, just for fun. Let's go back to our toppers here and try and find something. We'll go right at the bottom and we'll work our way up. We'll find something else. What's this one? That's just doing a clap. This is more like what we need. This one here from the selection pack. Let's bring this one in and see if this works with our mix. We'll bring this up to the top so that we've got all of our drum sounds together. And this one. All right, so here's our drum section doing their thing at the top here. Yeah, that's got something a bit more saucy in there, right? Yeah, you got some interest. A little bit loud on that one with the clicks, so just bring that down a bit. Cool. So let's do one final thing. We wanted some funky guitars. So let's see if any of these Mark Lettieri riffs that I've been playing with and that I've done the new video about are going to actually work in here. So we're going to go back to our sound packs. See, how fun is it? Just having this amount, this plethora of sounds gives you options. And yeah, too many options can sometimes be overwhelming. But if you use them right and if you just experiment, you're going to have some fun. I guarantee it. All right, so let's come back here and we'll just... We'll audition a few of these. We need some sort of higher sounding. Why is that not scrolling? Come on. We're not searching. That's why. There we go. All right. So this Cool Breeze one might be okay. Yeah, up here with these ones. So let's see if when we hit this section, we can bring in everything, and we'll bring in some guitar. Is this gonna work with our little drop in here to the verse section? No, you know why? Because the problem we're going to have here is we started in a minor key, and a lot of these ones are actually major. Let's see if in this pack we do have any that are in the minor key. I'm sure there's some. This will help us out. Nope. So because they're all funky, they're all actually in a major key. So it's not the worst thing. We might just have to try and find something that's just playing a little bit that could be major or minor that's not necessarily that. So what about something like the... I don't think it's going to work. I don't think it's going to work. Let's just try and find out. Maybe not. So we may not be able to go quite with the funky guitar. We probably should have made it more in a major key, so we could have used these cool Mark Lettieri packs. But or maybe we just use this. Can we just use this as a bit of a transition? Which one was it? This one. Let's bring this in here and see if we can just do this for like a bar leading into this part. Is this going to work? Probably not. No, not really. Maybe we just use it for one bar, just for something a little bit interesting there. Yeah. No, not quite. So you can see here, though, that there's a lot of options with these packs. You've got a heap of different stuff. And don't forget, you can also use a combination of track view and live loops view. So you can come back out here and you can grab, say, the track girl pack here. And if we wanted to build some things in here, so... what's this one going to do? Nothing. No, it doesn't have anything to the end there. Let's just play this one. That's actually pretty cool. So say the second half, we wanted to bring that one in here. We can hit record there and then hit the button here. All right, so we'll put that in there. We've got some suggestions here. So put it by 3 semitones maybe, and halve it again. So it's just, yeah. All right, let's try a couple of these things. So what if we do go down 3 semitones? Is it just that it was out of the key? Maybe. Let's bring it down 3 semitones and see if it's going to work in here. See if Sion's got some gold going on. All right. Yeah, and halve it again, exactly. So Jade is right as well. If we just bring it in here as like a little accent that brings it in here, and then we're just half a bar. Yeah, can we do da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da? Can we just let it go into the next section a little bit here like this? We can, but it's going to cut off really quick there. We'd have to use some funky automation to get that going on. But yeah, you'd see here that this is the extra bit that we've recorded in here with our friend Track Girl and her pack. So we've used maybe 6 or 7 of these packs all together to create something cool here. And hopefully you enjoyed seeing this. And if you want to dive in and do the same thing, you can. If you do want to grab yourself a MIDI keyboard of some sort, head over to the Gear Guide. I've got a Gear Guide which has all of the keyboards that I recommend that'll work well with your iPhone and your iPad. Keep in mind you'll want to get yourself a powered USB hub and a genuine Apple Lightning to USB adapter if you're using it with an older iPad or iPhone that has Lightning, or you want to get yourself a USB-C adapter if you're using a newer one. There you go. So Barry Glenn, it's like the relative minor. Yeah, that was clever. You bring it down. See, this is why I love the audience here. I love you folks. But yeah, lots to work with in these packs for sure. Let's see. Oh, late to the party. Hello to Tom. Hope you are doing well. Prince approves of this loop. Yeah, yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. Very cool. I'll just see if we've got any other questions that I've missed. If you did ask a question, then do re-ask it because I've probably missed it. Sean Rose says, when should I use flats and sharps when writing out a chord progression? There have been cases where I use G flat only for me to be told that it should be F sharp. It depends on the key that you're in. Look, if you're not heavily into your theory, it really doesn't matter. And I know the theory people are go, oh, it totally does matter because G doesn't have an A flat as a, no, hang on. G doesn't have a G flat as an F sharp because when you play a G scale, so let's give a little quick demo here because I have keys here. I'll go to this small time piano. Is this going to work here? Yeah. So if I hold this up, if I play a G scale from G, that scale goes from G to G. So it's a G major scale. If I wanted to bring it down to the major seventh, it's called a major seventh because that seventh is in the G scale. Now, if a G scale was G, A, B, C, D, E, G flat, G, that wouldn't make sense, yeah? So it's G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. So that's why someone would be pulling you up on that. They'd be saying if you're playing in G and you're going to the relative minor of G, you're going to go down to E there. And if you play a G chord, that's an F sharp. Again, for the same reason that D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. So it really just depends what key and what chord you're playing as to whether you need to call it a flat or a sharp. There you go. I don't normally do theory lessons because I'm very light on when it comes to theory knowledge. But yeah, if anyone's ever asking you about that or talking about it, that's the reason why. All right, let's move on. Let's have a wee rant, shall we? Because I wanted to rant on something, and I meant to have my GarageBand Mac up here. I don't have it. But what my pet peeve with GarageBand is, here's what grinds my gears. GarageBand on Mac has a little option in there that when you go into GarageBand, you can turn off auto normalization. Now, what is auto normalization and why is it good/bad? Well, when you have a track like this track that we've just created here, what you'll notice is that it's probably, in the case of this one, it's probably too loud. If we look at your meter up the top there, and if we play this, so it's not too bad, but it's peaking up there a little bit. If I didn't mix these down like I've done as we go, it would be peaking right up to the top there. So what GarageBand is going to do is it's going to normalize the volume. So if I've done something wrong, well, not wrong, but if I've overloaded this and the end result, when I go to export this, it's going to be over 0 dB, GarageBand will limit that down so that the maximum volume is 0 dB. Now that's a good thing because it means that it won't clip or distort, at least not severely. If it didn't do that, if you've ever used a DAW that doesn't have this feature, you export your song and it sounds like crud because it's got clipping, it's got distortion, you are clipping your master track, and that is a bad thing. And for the majority of users, it's probably a good thing that Apple have auto normalization on for both the reason that sometimes you're too loud and sometimes you're too quiet. I'll show you, we'll give you a practical example of how this works now, but the thing that's my pet peeve is just put the option in here, like the GarageBand for Mac option where you can turn it off. For someone like myself that wants to release a song and then maybe master it in a different platform, we can't really do that effectively because it will always bring the volume up to 0 dB. So let's show you what we mean here. We'll come out of this track. We're going to save this one. We're going to call this GBW demo because we've done it here in GarageBand Weekly. We're going to tap on it. No, we're not. We're going to export it that way. So we're going to tap and hold on this one and we're going to share it. So we're going to come down here. We're going to share. It's going to ask us what we want to share. We want to share the song and we want to share it as an uncompressed wave 44.1 24-bit. Please, folks, uncompressed wave 24-bit 44.1. If you haven't added 24-bit audio, there's an option there. There's a video here on the channel. You can check out how to do that, but make sure you got that turned on. You want the best quality audio here before YouTube or SoundCloud or DistroKid or whoever you're releasing with crushes it and compresses it. So we'll hit the share button there, and it's going to come here and say, where do you want to share this to? Now, I'm just going to hit the open in button, and it's going to export the song. I'm going to throw this over into audio share. It's just the place that I like to bring audio into because it gives you the ability to both play it, to share it out to other places, to trim it and edit it if you need to, and also to convert it if you want to convert it to a different file. But you also get a visualization of your file. Audio Share is not a free app. It's about $4, but please just go and buy it. I don't say that about many things, but Audio Share is the one thing that you just need to go and buy. Oh, my coffee's getting super cold. So that's exported there. We're going to come up to the top here and we're going to send it to Audio Share. So here is our track. Now, what you'll notice here is in this first half where it's slightly quieter, see how these peaks here are not getting up to the top. They're not going to what we call 0 dB. They're not going to the maximum volume. But in this second half, it is. So what it's done is it's found where these bits are their loudest and it's pushed these all the way up to the top to 0 dB. Now, this makes mastering a challenge because what you need to do is when you send it out to somewhere like Final Touch, you need to reduce the input volume to pull all these down. Now, in this case, it's not too bad because you can see here, it's just hitting the peaks. If I had this turned up super loud and it was like a sausage here, it would be unusable because even turning them down, it's already been limited. So this one's been normalized, but it hasn't actually been limited, which is a good thing. If we had it way too loud, so let's just do an experiment here. That if I was newer to GarageBand and I didn't know that I should turn everything down, let's do an experiment here where we turn everything up to 11. We're not going to mix anything. I know there's people are just like, Pete, don't do it. This is going to suck, and it is. But we need to do this for science because science. So let's play this louder section now and check out the meter up the top here. Block your ears if you need to. Can you already hear that it's starting to crush it and it's starting to hit the top end there? It's not cool. You're getting these like leave behinds here and this one's going right up to the top. So you don't want to do that. But let's export it just to see what it does. Because again, for the joy of science. So we're going to tap and hold. We're going to hit share. We're going to have to do the same thing again. Export the song, uncompressed wave, and open in. This will export it. We can then open it in audio share, excuse me. So we can then open it in Audio Share and take a look at this. Now, there is another trick which I'll show you in a moment. You can use the FX track to turn down the track overall, and we'll experiment with that next. This is all experimentation here. We'll do that next where we turn the FX track down, which basically acts as a makeshift master volume because if there was one other thing that I would love to see in GarageBand, it's a master fader. But you know what? The auto normalization is the more important thing. If we had auto normalization and we have no master fader, we can work around it. The lack of the ability to turn off auto normalization is the problem. All right, so here's our issue now, right? It's so peaking that even in the quiet parts, even in this first section, which we know from the last one that we did here is half the volume. So here's our original one. These ones should be nowhere near 0 dB, but because we have pumped it so much, this is hitting the ceiling over and over again. And if we play it, did you hear that? Did you hear that bit where it hit, where it kicked in with that 808? It dropped the volume down. Take another listen. You'll hear what I'm talking about. It's just here, just this bit here. Did you hear how it turned down the volume of your melodic instruments there when that bass kicked in? One more time. Take a really close listen. It's that pumping sound. Now, pumping when you're using it with side chaining and when you're doing it on purpose is fine if you want to use it as an effect. But what you don't want is pumping in your final mix that's going to go into your master that's going to make your sound not as good as it possibly could. All right, let's go back to logical land here, and I should have done a version where all of these were a bit lower. So we'll just basically mix this down super low, shall we? Let's do this as another experiment. So what if you're mixing it really low and you're like, oh, there's no way that the lowness of this mix is going to translate to being at 0 dB. We'll show you what happens when we do this. So let's play this track now, right? Mellow, look at that. It's not even hitting a quarter on the meter there. So you would expect that when you export it this time, it's going to be nowhere near 0 dB, right? Yeah, especially in that first half. It'll be nothing near it. But let's find out. Let's share again. We're getting good at this now. We'll share. We'll open in. And this time, what do you expect? Scientists of the world, scientists of the GarageBand community, what do you expect this is going to do? Yeah, I think you're with me here. It's going to turn it up. Why is it turning it up? It's to protect folks that are mixing too low. So it's so that your song can be competitive with other songs. You don't want a song that is going to be at about a quarter the volume. If it's down at like minus 18, minus 24 dB, it's going to sound way low and it's going to sound crappy compared to other songs that are actually mixed and mastered up at 0 dB or at minus 1. So that's why it's doing it. But again, if we're mastering ourselves, you don't want this to happen. Let's hit the button there and see what we got. Right. So what have we got here? Well, yes, it's definitely lower across the board, but there is the point. That is the point where it's raised it up. Now, we know that that point there was nowhere near hitting 0. And look at these ones here. This was nowhere near 0 dB. But when we play it now, listen, it's brought it up. So instead of being back down here where we actually originally mixed it at, where it was sounding like this, yeah, what's it done? It's grabbed that volume, it's auto-normalized it, and now you're getting this. It's brought it up. Now, of course, it's nothing like the ones we had before. It's nothing like this, which is a good thing. And what you're hopefully seeing here is that you want to be under, maybe not that far under, but maybe about that far under. So the first mix that we had where I'd actually mixed it to the level that I would actually mix a track at is pretty good. Now, what's the one final thing that we'll say here that can help you work around this auto-normalization, auto-limiting kind of function? Well, let's just say we go back to that crushed mix where we have everything up way too loud. There's another technique we can use here. If we tap our FX, we just record in any old thing with the FX, just filter it. Waka, 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 wow. So we don't actually use that. And then if we scroll down here, we delete out the effects that we've done there. But then what we get, if we go to our plugins and EQ here, we can actually use this visual EQ to reduce our volume. So let's say you'd mix this, you are happy with it overall, but you wanted to be able to master it. And every time you export it, you get that sausage, you get that brick wall at the top that you don't want. Well, if we bring this down, let's bring it down, say 10 dB. If we now play this back, see, it's still hitting way too loud, still right up there, especially that click sound. So we can turn it down even more. Let's turn it down 20 dB. Now what's happening? Now it's sitting in the mix, so maybe round about there. Okay, so that's got it there. That's sitting around about the middle there. That's probably a decent place to go. I know we've done this a few times, but I'm hoping this will help a lot of folks because it's one of the trickiest things to work with here. But once you know what it's doing, once you know that the science behind what GarageBand is doing here, it's going to make your life a heck of a lot easier. So we're going to share that one. We're going to open in. It's going to export again here. What it's going to do this time is, because it's lowered that master volume, it's going to be similar to the one that we did at the low volume, but it's going to have our mix at the proportions that we wanted it originally. So if you don't want to go to the effort of going back and lowering every single track, you've got 32 tracks in there, you know you like your mix, but it's just slightly too hot, go into your FX track, turn it down a little bit, and then when we export here, hopefully once it's done, you'll see that it's going to be golden. So we'll come here, we'll hit the audio share button, and boom. That's where we want it, right? This would be absolutely fine to master because we know that our peaks, the only time we're hitting 0 dB is here, and all we need to do is turn down our input on our mastering by about 6 or 10 dB just to create that headroom. And that way, when we use limiting in our mastering, you're going to have the ability to do that. If we had a mix like this, or especially like this, if your final export of your mix looks like this, there's no point mastering it because all you're doing is turning it down and then re-limiting. It's going to end up sounding like a dog's breakfast. Actually, I think that's a look like. It's going to sound like hot garbage. No, that's a look like too. It's going to sound like nails down a blackboard. There you go. We finally got a good analogy. That was a longer rant than I usually go on, but I thought it was important to show the practical side of why it's such a big deal and why Apple, if you're listening, please just give us that checkbox. You don't just leave it on by default, but those of us that want to be able to master our tracks that we create in GarageBand iOS, then please just give us the ability to turn that off. All right. Any questions? We're going to go over time here today, but if you do have any questions, please just throw them in the chat. By the way, I'm wearing the t-shirt I'm wearing today, the Delicate Giants. Let's have a look at this one. This is our man Russ8889. This is a t-shirt that he sent me, so shout out to Russ. Thank you for sending me your t-shirt, my friend. It is very cool. I will wear it with pride. Him and his cousin have created this band. They've got an album coming out very soon, which is going to be cool. I'm going to drink some cold coffee, and then we're going to continue on. So yes, we are going on overtime here. Yeah, the FX track is super cool. We're going into overtime here, but that's okay. So we'll probably run about 15 minutes late here. Alert the affiliates. Thank you, Sean. Thank you for the donation. Without folks like Sean, we wouldn't be able to keep the lights on around here at Studio Live Today Studios. But thanks to good folks like Sean, we can. And you're welcome. Thanks for raising it, because I was going to talk about it anyway, but you raising it as a practical example of why it's happening to you, that made me want to go into that little bit of extra information. Michael Lewis, hello to you. Just watch where you sang along to your own song as a backing track. Is it possible for you to do that without a mixing board? Can I use my iRig Duo and GB to do that? It's an interesting question. Short answer is no. I haven't found a way to do it really well. Jimmy Townsend says, I do that with an iRig. It depends what you want to do with it. The problem is that say I've got my audio interface plugged into my iPad right here, right now. Yep. So I've got this going on here, and we can do a bit of a practical example. We're going practical here today. Let's do a practical example. So if I open up a audio recorder track here, and I wanted to do this, I wanted to sing along with this track. Let's just say I had a cool vocal part written here. Let's just put a regular. I've been playing around with that one. It's not the best. Let's just put a regular vocal preset. Your lead vocals. Check, check, check. Hello, is it me you're looking for? Oh, now I've got a copyright claim. So if you wanted to do this, yeah, you could do this. But the problem is a lot of people want to do things like run this through GarageBand and then record themselves playing or singing along with the camera app. That's not going to really cut it, because it won't actually send the audio from here to your camera app. I don't know what this is going to do. This may crash the whole stream, because I've never tried this before. But what happens if I go, because you can play your GarageBand in the background. So if we hit play, we can play GarageBand in the background, and we can go to our camera app. Let's just go camera, and we should see, yeah, the wrong way. But if we spin this around, hello, and we go to video, it's still playing there. Let's see if this works. I was at the bar with my drinking team, and it was me, Jack Daniels, and my homie Jim Beam, yeah. Okay. We'll hit stop on that. We'll come back to our GarageBand. We'll stop that. I've actually legitimately never tried this. So what did that actually do? Did that give us the ability to do this? Let's go to our Photos app and see that video, because in the past what I found is it hasn't actually worked. It hasn't done what you think it would do. Let's throw that. Me, Jack Daniels, and my homie Jim Beam, yeah. So what has it done? It has recorded the audio from my microphone directly to the camera app. So it is it has not included any of that GarageBand sound in there. So that's the problem you're going to have, is that if you're using one device, sorry, that's getting annoying. Let's just turn off that monitoring. If you're using just one device, there's no way to route internal audio back into your camera app. And if I'm saying this, and if someone else can actually do it, then then let me know. Has Sion got a solution here? You can open Audio Share and tap on the microphone icon and turn on monitoring. Oh, so you can record into Audio Share. Will that then record your video as well, Sion? That's interesting. Let's experiment. We're already over time, so why the heck not? Let's go in here and try this. So if we're in Audio Share, whoop, that's the wrong one. That's, boom, this one here. So if we're in Audio Share, because what you can do in Audio Share is you can actually monitor your audio as well. So we're recording here in Audio Share. Ba, 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 ba. So I guess what Sion is saying is that will this monitoring then bring the audio that we're playing in GarageBand into our camera app? Let's find out. This is an interesting hack. See, this is again why the community here is cool. We'll go back to our camera. We'll we'll go to video. We'll flip me around, and we'll come back to GarageBand. Let's kick this off and play it. We'll check our audio share. Oh, that's the wrong one again. So it's monitoring is on there, but it's not bringing in unless you can use AUM or audio bus or something like that. I'm not sure. We'll just try. Let's see what it does. Rock and roll every day and every night. Woo! All right, turn it off. And the other thing here is that I'm using the Relfector and I'm going out through a mixer and it's bringing the sound in a different way. So that may be to do with it. Maybe if I'm just using my iPad as opposed to actually going out through an audio interface, it's going to work. I don't know. But let's go back. This is all very highly experimental and we'll see what happens here. So we'll play this one. Is this going to do our thing? Day and every night. Woo! No. So it doesn't actually do it. So maybe there is a way. Sion, maybe send me an email if you've done it before and it's possible. We need to make a tutorial about it, or maybe you've got it. Don't record in audio share. Yeah. Well, so I wasn't recording, but I don't know. I'm obviously doing something wrong. So take that on advice. Or do you go out of the recorder to put monitoring on? I don't know. But that's basically what you need to try and do, isn't it? You need to be able to monitor the stereo output from GarageBand and hear that at the same time as you're playing in or playing along with the camera app. It's also going to put your vocal on the left or the right if you've got a 2-channel interface, so keep that in mind as well. You'll need to try and finagle that in editing. The reason that I use a second, so here's the solution on this one, is if you've got a second device and a second interface, use this to record your video and you're playing along, and then use the backing track and send that into this one, and then you can actually kind of mix it all together. Having a mixer just makes life a heck of a lot easier, to be honest. So there are ways, like most things in life, there are ways around it, and if there is a way to do that all on one device, I'd be happy to know it. There you go. So yeah, if you did test and you've got a video on it, then let's do it. What if you screen record while singing? Okay, Thomas Christ has just taken us to the next level. What about a screen record option? Sorry folks, we're over time here, but we're just going to keep doing this because this is too interesting. So you may be aware that you can also screen record. Oh, you know why this isn't going to work? As soon as you set screen recorder on here, I'm pretty sure it doesn't play nicely with Relfector. Again, if we all crash and burn here, then let me know. All right, so we'll go there. We'll turn the microphone on, and we'll start recording the screen. This is going to go... no, I didn't think so. So while we're airplaying, we can't screen record. So I won't be able to show that or try that here this time around. But it should technically work as well, because what screen recording does, and I used this for the Track Girl pack where I recorded that while I was out and about. What that does is it actually records your screen as well as the screen sound, and it records your audio going in as well. From memory, it doesn't play nicely with audio interfaces, but that's another thing to test in the future. Alrighty, where are we up to? All right, tip of the week. Yeah, I know, we're only at tip of the week and we've gone this far. So someone was talking on the GarageBand users this week about the GarageBand File Transfer folder. So what is the GarageBand File Transfer folder and how do you use it? Well, it's an interesting one because if you've played around here in GarageBand and you've brought in your own sounds, you'll know that here in the loops icon, not only do you have Apple loops, but you have this one. You have the files option here. You can see I've brought in some MIDI sounds. I've got the WAV file that I've exported here. That's what we've just been working on here on the live show, and we've got a MIDI track there. Now, I quite often actually delete things out of here because it gets a little bit cumbersome, because every time you import something, it goes here into your GarageBand File Transfer folder. So let's show you how this works. If we browse items from the File app, let's just find a random bit of audio, shall we? If we go into my Studio Live Today folder, oops, that's my GarageBand one. We'll tap again. We'll go back to iCloud Drive and we'll go into Studio Live Today. Let's just find one of my little video, logos and content. Should have prepared this a little bit earlier. This one, music, background, and stings. All right, so we'll bring in this GarageBand Weekly. This is an appropriate one to bring in. See there it's saved on the cloud. So we've browsed this one, we've downloaded it, and it pops in there. So if we want to add this one into a track, we can now just bring it on and chuck it in, and there you go. We can bring in the very cool GarageBand Weekly theme song by our man Song. GarageBand Weekly, GarageBand. So that's cool. We use this in our project, we're done. But every time we go back to our files, it's still there. So how do we get rid of it? Well, there's a couple of ways here. The first is that if we slide across on this from right to left, we can just simply delete it. And this will delete it out of our loops, and it'll also delete it out of the files location where this is stored. And this is the important thing to understand. Here in our files, if you go to On My iPad and you go to GarageBand, here we've got our GarageBand File Transfer folder. So this is where those two files are there. So if we didn't want, say, this Thompson Twins one here, in fact, we do want that because that's a cool MIDI file. So we don't want this one, we can actually just delete this from our Files app. And once we delete it from there, if we go back over here to GarageBand, and boom, there it is, it's gone. So this is just a representation of what you have over here in Files. Now, as you saw there, I don't want a bunch of stuff in here. In fact, let's clutter it up a bit. Let's import some files. So say we'd come in here, we'll import this one here, the YML theme. We'll pop that in there, and we'll bring in this one here, this little short audio clip that we'll pop in there, and we'll bring in this one here. So I've brought in a bunch of tracks and a bunch of different audio samples. And I'm like, okay, I've used all of those now and I don't want them. Yeah, if I say I had 50 of these, would you want to go through here and have to delete them one by one here? Oh, played that one. No, you wouldn't. So what do? Well, you can actually come out here. If you go to your Files app here, there they all are. Once again, to navigate here, you go On My iPad, you go GarageBand for iOS, you go GarageBand File Transfer, and you can actually delete them from here. So you can draw actually, no, can you draw a box? I thought you could in the new version. Can you draw a box around? Maybe not, but you can select. So you can select here and you can either select individual ones. So say we didn't want any of these three and we don't want there anymore, and you simply delete them and they're gone away. So you can actually manage your files in here. The other cool thing is, let's just say that you had a bunch of things you wanted to bring in at once. Instead of using your GarageBand import over here and having to do one by one by one, yeah, you're probably ahead of me on this, but if we just dump them straight in here, we can put a whole folder of sounds in here. So let's try this out. If we go to iCloud Drive, we'll go to my Studio Live Today folder we were playing with there before. Tap it, not move it. And where is the ones that we were just using? The stings, music background stings. So let's grab this one, and what we're going to do is we're going to tap and hold. We're going to copy this, and we're going to paste it over here in my GarageBand File Transfer folder. Tap and hold, and hit paste. There you go. It's going to copy in all of these. Oh no, it's going to be slow because some of these were stored in the cloud. That's going to be a bit of a pain in the butt. Let's just find another folder that might have something a little bit smaller in there. That was a bit of a miss. We'll create a separate one with things that we already have. So let's just grab a couple of these Song ones. We will copy them. In fact, we'll move them from there, and we'll pop them in a separate folder of their own. Where can we put these? We'll go iCloud Drive, we'll make a new folder, and we'll just call it Test. How many people have test folders for things? So we'll move them into test just so that we can show you this process a little bit easier. So now if we grab this test folder, again, tap and hold it, we're going to copy it, and we're going to go to On My iPad, GarageBand for iOS, GarageBand File Transfer. Oh, it's worked. In the time it took us to do that, it had downloaded them all. So there you go. We'll pop those two in there. So how will these work now? Well, let's come back here to GarageBand. Let's go to our list there. Oh no, we've got a problem. Why, oh why, GarageBand, do you not support folders? We don't know, but it doesn't. So this is the slightly sucky thing. You're not going to be able to have your separate folders in there. What you are going to then have to do is come out here and everything has to go in your root directory. I know, boo. So we'd have to grab these. We need to move them and we need to pop them right in the, we're in the wrong spot. We need to pop them right here in the GarageBand. Where are you, GarageBand? G for GarageBand in the file transfer folder directly. So that way they are right here. And then when you come back over to your GarageBand, they will all be in there. So that's a bit of a pain in the butt. It would be so much easier to support sample libraries and folders of samples here in GarageBand if we could simply have access. Just tap on that one and it would be there. It's there, but it's grayed out. It's the most frustrating thing in the world. So that would be a very good way to go. So there you go. There's another thing. Apple, we would like folder access in there too, but it does definitely make it a lot easier. Don't manage your files here in the GarageBand File Transfer section in GarageBand. Jump out to your Files app, and then you can manage all of your files right here in the Files app here in iOS. There you go. GarageBand File Transfer folder demystified, hopefully, for folks if you were struggling with it. All right, we're going to finish off in just a few minutes, but we'll find a way. Audio share is the only workaround I know of. Yeah, you can bring folders of things into audio share. You can do a whole bunch of cool stuff in audio share, but for GarageBand, yeah, if you want to have things in that loop browser, they need to be in there and they need to be in the default folder. In my experience, if here's the thing: if I ever say anything that's wrong and you have a workaround, yeah, let me know. Tell me. Pete@studiolivetoday.com. I'm always all ears. I want to learn things. Like the things that we've learned here, like the drummer to drums, like the FX trick for your masters. These have all come from you, from people that have said, actually, no, you can do it. And I always love to hear that. Sean Rose, will GarageBand allow us to change track colors? No. Short answer is no. Unfortunately, GarageBand iOS only has its default track colors. GarageBand for Mac will let you change track colors. GarageBand here on iOS will not. So as you may be aware, your audio recorder tracks are always going to be blue, your drummer tracks are yellow, and your MIDI or your virtual instrument tracks are green, and you have zero control over any of the other things. Hello, no face. I left my Zoom class to watch this. Yeah, GarageBand is important, but stay in school, kids. At least that's what I officially have to say. Good to have you here, though. You will learn something. This is learning too. This is learning about the real world, about the world of music creation. So, yeah, welcome aboard. Let's continue and go into our plugin or app of the week. And I won't go into detail on this one, but I'll just mention it really briefly. And that is that my very favorite app. Let's just close everything. I got too much open. My very favorite app for video editing is an app called LumaFusion. It's right here on my front screen because I use it all the time. It looks like this and it does this. There's me doing some weird experiment. It's always from that angle. It always makes me look terrible. Not that I don't really care about. But yeah, so LumaFusion has had a big new update. It's got a bunch of cool new features. Now, Jade Star over on her channel, and Jade, if you're watching and if you can throw a link to the video that you did on this, but there's a whole bunch of cool options in here. You've got image stabilization, you've got the ability to do audio effects, and you've got a whole bunch more editing tools here in LumaFusion that can really help you out. They've changed up some of the things that used to be called confusing things. You used to import things here. Where is it? When you imported media, this one here was called Files. Now it's called iOS. It has support for external media that you can use on SSDs and other things. So yeah, there's a whole bunch going on here, and I actually edit on LumaFusion on my phone. People think I'm insane, but I love it because I can go out and walk about. So after I do this show, I'll probably shoot another video for the next couple of days because I like to work a bit in advance. So I will just grab LumaFusion here on my phone. I'll load it up and there you go. So there is yesterday's video. So there's me editing. This is how I edit the videos that I put here on the channel. That's the Mark Lettieri pack that if you're a patron, you've already seen or you have access to. And if you're not, join up, $1 per month, can't go wrong. So that's how I edit my videos, and I do it all on here because it's exactly the same. This is the thing, it's digital video and audio going into a digital piece of software. And whether this is on my iPhone or my iPad or my Mac or my PC, it doesn't matter. It really makes no difference. We'll loop right back around to what I talked about at the start with the Watch the Sound show on Apple TV. Every single person that is a music producer, that's a professional musician, that's a professional artist, all of them said that it doesn't matter what you're using. Not one of them said, oh, I only use Ableton, and anyone that doesn't use Ableton is a fool. The people that say those things are not the successful people. They're the people that have so much time on their hands that they spend it sitting in forums telling you why that unless you're using Pro Tools, you're a fool. No one that actually is out there creating music. And they talk to, again, Paul McCartney. They talk to Tame Impala. They talk to Dave Grohl. They talk to the Beastie frickin' Boys, for goodness sake. These are not people that need to big note themselves because they let their music and their productions do the talking. So, yeah, I don't know why I get so frustrated about this, but I think I get frustrated because so many people stop creating because people tell them they're not good enough, or people tell them they don't have the right gear, the right software, the right thing. If I can shoot a video here in StreamYard and then edit it on my phone and then post it to YouTube using nothing but an iPhone, then anyone can. You can too. So, yeah, don't let the limitations get in your way, and don't let the haters get you down, because, you know, Taylor Swift was onto it. Haters are going to hate. What do I say about going over the hour mark? I always seem to lose my mind. There you go. Jade is doing a LumaFusion show on how to make a lyric music video. That will be special. And there is a LumaFusion update video from Jade if you want that. Yeah, you kind of do need Luma. How much does it cost? Does anyone have the pricing there? They do have sales on it from time to time. It's not super cheap. But then again, the best things in life are free, but the second best things in life cost cash money, right? So let's just App Store LumaFusion. And the other cool thing that I'm starting to experiment is that LumaFusion actually works on your M1 Mac. And I had a weird dream last night that I bought a MacBook Pro M1 laptop maxed out. So with like 2 terabytes of storage and the 32 gig of RAM that's the current maximum. Or is it 16? 16 gig. And I don't really remember why I did. And I was like, why did I do that? So here in Australia, LumaFusion is $46.99. That's Australian kangaroo bucks, which is probably about 30 American Freedom Eagles, probably around the 30 Great British pounds, and euros about the same, probably about 30. So anywhere from about 30 to 50 of your local currency, wherever you happen to be. But the cool thing is, yeah, one-time buy. Yeah, there you go. $29.99 US, and Greg is right. If you hang out and if you wait for it, it goes down to about $20 when it's on sale, because it goes from 46 down to, I think, about 36 here in Australia when it's on sale. Here's the thing. The one-time buy is what I'm convinced with, because I bought LumaFusion 4 or 5 years ago. I switched from Adobe Premiere Pro. I had a day job that happened to give me an Adobe subscription, the Creative Cloud subscription back in the day, and so I used Premiere just because I had it for free. Then my work took that away, because they're like, you don't edit videos. I'm like, not for work, I don't. And then so I had to switch to something. So I switched to LumaFusion and I bought it for $40 the one time, and I've never had to pay a cent since. And they've updated through version 2, now a full version update, and when you go from version 2 to 3 and you get it for free, Cubases, that's a really good thing, because why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want a bigger user base? And I recommend LumaFusion every time I talk about it. In fact, LumaTouch, let's have a chat. Come on, I'll buy you a coffee. We'll have a chat. Maybe you'd like to sponsor one of the shows here on the channel. That would be cool. All righty. One final thing is that we talk about is we are brought to you here today, if you missed the start of the show, by my Patreon page. And if you want to become one of the cool people, like I said, we've got 69 patrons already. And if you want to become one of them for as little as $1 per month, there are different tiers that you can check out for $5, $10, and up to $50 if you want to get some more perks, like the exclusive live streams and one-on-one access and the like. But you get cool things like first looks at videos that aren't even out yet, like my review here. Let's just take I did a little bit of a lyrical thing. We'll finish with this. I did a little vocal bit of this one, and I'm going to give you a little sneak peek of me singing some vocals over the top of this one, because it was a laugh. It was a bit of fun here. So we'll take a bit of a listen to this. You'll be able to see this video tomorrow. It'll be launched here for those in the public channel. But if you want to watch it right now, jump on over to Patreon and check it out. Let's take a look and a listen here, shall we? Oh. It's reset. We'll go back here. Recent one. I've showed that we've got. Yeah. Feeling funky. Feeling good. Got the guitar. It's understood. I've been saying that there's not very many good guitar sounds in GarageBand, but I guess that's just a change. And it has changed. There are good guitar sounds in GarageBand. It is the Mark Lettieri pack, and it's very cool. See if I can sneak this final question under the bar. I usually write my own chord progressions, but I have a song in 3/4 time. Are there any loops for 3/4? I don't often use loops. No, there are not. That is a good point, and it is a sad thing that there are no 3, 4, or 6, 8 loops. There are only 4, 4. However, the hack around that one is go to a place like freesound.org, and you'll be able to download some sounds. In fact, let's just try this again, because we're already over time anyway. It's going to be the longest episode of GarageBand Weekly in history, but that's okay. Why did that not work? Freesound.org. Oh, I went freedowned. That's different. At least it didn't take me to like some sort of adult site, because that sometimes happens. Freesound.org. Let's log in. So I'm just going to log in. It's free to join, but you do need to log in. So I'm just going to put my username and password, and then here it is. Freesound.org. So you can find some sounds here. So what I would do, let's just go 3/4 loop. We'll go 3/4 drum loop, and we'll just see what we've got here. Are these actually, it depends on how, but BPM 3/4 kick, maybe. It depends how people actually label them. Sometimes people don't label them super well. Oh, we've got a 5/4 loop. This is interesting. Let's see what this 5/4 loop is. So if you want to get these, you can play them right here. So we'll hit play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. That's pretty cool. I should make a sound just in that. So you got a heap of that. Yeah, maybe if you search like polyrhythm, maybe that's a good way to go. Polyrhythm. Or you could just go mixed meter, or you could go different meters. 3/2 kick. Oh, that could be fun. Look at this. And you can play these directly from here. So there you got a 3/4 with a 2 over the top. 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And to download them, just hit the download button there. You can download them straight in here. I'm on the Mac here, but you can of course do that as well over on your iPad or your iPhone. And in fact, if we do the same thing that we did before, if we just do a little bit of a YouTube search, I'm pretty sure Pete Johns free sound. I think I've got a video. There you go. How to add free samples in GarageBand iOS using free sound. So you can go and check out that video, and that will show you everything you need to know about how to do it. Why doesn't GarageBand have the 2/4 time signature? Because it's basically just half a 4/4. So all you need to do for 2/4 is really either halve or double the speed, depending which way you're going, and just use the 4/4. Because if you're creating a 16-bar loop in 2/4 time, it's just an 8-bar loop in 4/4 time. So because the mathematics are simple, all they've done is given you the 4/4. What would be cooler if we had things like 7/8 and 5/4 that you can't really easily do. And you can actually also use mixed meters. So if you wanted to, if you want to see something a bit interesting, if you go multiple time signatures, again, we'll search my name, Pete Johns, and multiple time signatures, and we got a couple of ones here. This video here will show you how you can use. Can you use the more exotic time signatures or a mixture of different time signatures in GarageBand on your... I don't know, Mr. Excited Man in front of his treadmill, but I think you can. So yeah, you can go and check out that video if you want to do that. Yeah, thank you, Jay. There is a mailing list as well. If you go to studiolivetoday.com, join the mailing list, because that will keep you up to date with when I'm live, when the shows are happening, how you can get more involved, how you can donate to the channel, become a patron, do all those cool and funky things. So that is going to do it for this one. Boom indeed. Yes, boom, we are done. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you again to Russ for the very cool t-shirt. I'll be wearing this with pride on my walk here today. And yeah, if you do want to go and check out more about GarageBand, there are links down in the description, including a couple of videos right there and there if you're watching on the replay. And until next time, please be kind to yourselves. Be kind to others. Keep creating and get funky with GarageBand. See you soon, folks.